Doom stood surrounded by holographic screens 3 times his height, each of which cycled through views of the surrounding terrain out to a distance of several thousand miles. He noted Magneto's departure from the hero's base, his return, and then his exit again, this time with a small ball of steel in tow. Like Doom himself, Magneto had eschewed the designated teams. For different reasons, one suspected, but perhaps this small commonality could be maneuvered into something more substantial. Doom reached out to Magneto, while Skeeter and Marsha prepared themselves for their respective sessions. Doombase's surveillance machinery located Magneto's home and connected without any instruction beyond a verbal command.
Victor.
Magneto wasn't wearing his helmet, which Doom noted and filed away. Something had Magneto feeling very comfortable, it seemed, as if he weren't worried about telepathic intrusion from Xavier.
Magneto, I will be brief. You have left the group to which the Beyonder originally attached you. I infer from this that you would be open to discussion of a new alliance. Doombase would find you a useful ally.
Ally or subordinate?
The situation as it stands would place you under my leadership, in that you would join the rest of this group. All have agreed that I am best able to lead and ensure that we defeat your former team. And more important, that we learn the source of the Beyonder's power and take it for our own.
I saw how well your initial efforts in that direction turned out, Victor. If that was your audition to lead, I cannot say you made an entirely favorable impression.
One must dare.
I will save you the trouble of more tortured politeness. I am not interested in an alliance.
I will not ask again.
Permit me to repeat myself. I am not interested in an alliance.
Very well. But be warned. If you do not serve me, I will consider you an enemy.
I serve no one, Doom. I make my own way.
So be it. Know that your choice is irrevocable, and that you will live to regret it.
Doom broke the connection, but considered his options. Magneto's refusal was not unexpected, but still troublesome. If the Beyonder had decided to pit all of them against each other, Magneto would sooner or later become an enemy. Doom preferred to suborn potential enemies and then undermine them at the moment of his choosing. This was often easier and more effective than open opposition. Magneto had determined to proceed down a different path, as was his right, just as all people had the right to be idiotic. As Doom had told him, Magneto would live to regret it, but not much longer than that. The headstrong fools Doom now commanded had suffered losses in their first engagement, and Magneto would have been a useful addition to his resources, but Doom would address the personnel shortfall now, at least in part. Once that was accomplished, Reed Richards and Captain America would do a visit. But first things first. Leaving the communications console, he strode through Doombase, avoiding the others and entering a chamber he had decreed off-limits to all but himself. This was where he had begun experimenting with the base's technology and conceived the plan to bolster the group's ranks. On 2 platforms built into tubular structures that stretched from floor to ceiling stood Marsha Rosenberg and Skeeter MacPherran.
Pardon the delay. I was unavoidably detained on other business. Are you prepared?
This last was a rhetorical question. He had no intention of letting either of them return to their ravaged slice of Denver at this point. They were perfectly suited to his scientific needs, and they knew too much of the interior of Doombase to walk away now.
I'm ready. Skeeter?
Whenever.
We begin!
Initializing a series of processes from a central command terminal, Doom watched as clear walls encircled the platforms on which they stood.
It is a perfect time to undertake this operation. This alien technology is quite subtle and powerful, but it requires enormous amounts of energy to perform its function. The tempest now raging outside provides a perfect source of that energy. In other words, ladies, you are here at the exact right moment.
Glad to hear it.
Skeeter was a typical human, interested in power, but not its workings.
You dare to gamble for power. Few have the courage to make that choice. I salute you.
He rocked back a lever, and conduits leading down from the ceiling into the pillars began to glow. Doom triggered a DNA scan. He had already conducted a preliminary scan to search out useful imperfections in the women's genomes and to analyze the best way to imbue each with new powers. This scan was targeted more specifically. It would pick out which parts of each woman's genome were responding to the increased energy. The instruments would do the rest. Doom had programmed certain parameters into their potential transformations and consulted with each woman about what the best result would be. Now to see whether the instruments would perform as intended.
Welcome it! Open yourselves to it despite the pain!
The interiors of the capsules glowed, silhouetting Marsha and Skeeter.
Embrace it! If you do not, it will destroy you!
He was testing the limits of how much power a normal human could withstand. He didn't know whether his first attempt would succeed. If it didn't, a return trip to Denver would be in order. Deep inside each of the silhouettes, a red sparkle appeared. It flowed in chaotic swirls, growing brighter as Doom threw the final switch. Neither woman moved. The crackle inside the capsules dissipated, leading away into nothingness. For a moment, there was utter silence. Skeeter MacPherran emerged first. She was half a meter taller, carrying 3 times as much muscle as before. An Amazonian specimen, fit for the Olympics, or for the much more serious work of crushing Doom's enemies. The genome analysis had revealed latent potential for enhanced strength, and from her new appearance, Doom suspected that potential was greater than he had guessed. So much the better. She looked down at herself in wonder.
I don't ever want to change back. This is what it's like to be strong. I can feel it. All my life I've dreamed of this.
Just as the Beyonder had said, Doom thought, and as Doom had said to her.
Where are the clothes I designed?
Here, Miss MacPherran.
No, I'm not Skeeter MacPherran anymore. I want a new name, something flashy, something that'll show me off a little. Nobody's ever been impressed by me in my life, and that's going to change.
Names can wait. First, see your companion.
Marsha Rosenberg emerged from her capsule, utterly transformed. Her silhouette was black, but fires burned in a nimbus around her body.
You were right, Doctor. I did it. I can feel that power in me now. So strange. I can change back, can I? You said I'd be able to.
You can.
He believed this to be true from the profile returned by the genomic scan during the transformation. She would have to find out on her own.
If I had not arranged for you to reassume a normal human form, you would have been unable to eat or sleep. Your useful life would have been quite short.
Unless, he mused, he could create a new molecule man, but that was an experiment for another time. He had here 2 very interesting results, and it was time to explore them.
You can radiate thermal energy from your skin and direct it as you wish. Do so. Now!
Doom pointed at a small-wheeled vehicle he had used to transport equipment to this room. Martha thrust both hands at it, and it flashed into glowing molten slag. Its non-metallic parts burned away instantly in a boil of acrid smoke.
I can feel it. I can feel the heat inside me. So much. It's hard to believe I can contain it. I want a new name, too. Something that sounds powerful. Something hot.
An idea occurred to her, and she smiled. The effect was quite strange on a face composed of million-degree ionized plasma.
I want to be called Volcana.
Then so shall you be called.
And you can call me Titania.
Doom turned to see that the former Skeeter MacPherran had changed into her chosen ensemble of red, with high boots, and lines selected to accent the power of her form.
Let me clear away that slag for you, Doom. I feel like nothing can hurt me now.
She flung the tons of cooling slag out through the window.
You are relishing your new strength as you should be. But take heed. Soon you will be tested in combat, and you will meet opponents much the same as yourselves. You can be hurt, though not easily.
He turned and led them away to meet the others. The procedure had been a complete success. Richards had a surprise in store when next they met. First, though, Doom introduced the new members to his alliance. They were all gathered in a greenhouse base on the leeward side of Doom Base.
I have summoned you here to meet our new recruits, Titania and Volcana. Ladies, you will learn more about your comrades in due time. But let there be introductions. The robot, Ultron. indestructible, immensely powerful, and my bodyguard. The others, in order: the Wrecker, Dr. Octopus, the Absorbing Man, Molecule Man.
Where'd they come from? I thought we was the only ones on this planet except for the Avengers and their pals.
Doom probably built him from scratch.
Titania walked over to where the Absorbing Man lay on a couch. Doom watched with interest. It was always interesting to see how ordinary humans establish their pecking orders.
I'm from Denver, pal. You think you're the toughest one here? Get up!
With an effortless backhand, she smashed a huge stone statue.
What you got in mind?
Whatever I want. For the first time in my life, I'm not the one on the receiving end. Get up!
Nah.
You're backing down? You're scared to face me?
Kid, if you got something to prove, prove it tomorrow against the Avengers. I'm not getting up unless you can inspire me a little.
Titania spun on her heel and left a trail of wreckage on her way out of the room. Doom was impressed with her physical strength, less so with her self-control.
Octopus, Ultron, go to the hangar deck and prepare assault vehicles. This storm will clear by dawn. When it does, we will strike!
As he strode away, Doom noticed Volcana and Molecule Man having a conversation.
I hate all that smashing around, trying to pick fights, all that. I can't stand it.
Really? You? The infamous Molecule Man? I always wanted to meet you, you know?
This was worth staying to observe, Doom thought. Owen Reese was in all likelihood the key to what would happen when Doom and the Beyonder at last met. Doom intended to know as much about him as could be known before he had to depend on him.
You're different than I thought you'd be.
Yeah, I know. Shorter, right?
No.
She transformed from her plasma state to her regular old Marsha Rosenberg form. Doom found this interesting. Apparently the transformation was quite easy for her to manage.
More sensitive.
You really think so? That's what my therapist says, too. I've been seeing one since I almost destroyed the Earth.
They both looked out of one of the greenhouse's great windows at the fury of the storm outside.
It's something, isn't it?
Just molecules. I could stop it all if I wanted to. But my therapist says I should let things take their course, so, you know. Unless Doom asked me to. Now that's an impressive guy.
I know. Incredible charisma.
I don't like what he's doing, I don't think.
But I can't help believing in him. And I sure don't trust the Avengers. They're not going to try to get us back to Earth. Doom's got big plans. He knows what he's doing. I don't like it when he orders me around, but I'll do what I have to if it means getting home. Even if I have to rip this planet apart.
This was good to know, thought Doom. He continued on his way to make preparations for the next day.